Could you ever imagine what drives a man to commit heinous acts of violence, repeatedly and without remorse? This is the chilling tale of Andrés Mendoza, a name that echoes through the annals of criminal history, synonymous with a series of unspeakable crimes that shook the world. Andrés Mendoza, a figure who lurks in the shadowy depths of humanity's worst nightmares. A man of ordinary beginnings, yet his life took a sinister twist into the macabre. His deeds were far from ordinary, etching his name into the black book of infamous serial killers. He wasn't a myth, a ghost story, or a fictional character from a horror movie. He was real, and his actions had real devastating consequences. His victims, their lives extinguished too soon, their families left to grapple with the chilling reality of their loved ones' fates. Why did he do it? What twisted machinations drove Mendoza to such depths of depravity? These are the questions that have puzzled and horrified us for years. Embark with us on a journey through the dark corners of Mendoza's life and mind. Born into an unassuming family, Mendoza's early life gave no hint of the monster he would become. Andrés Mendoza entered this world as a blank slate, just like any other child. He was born into a typical family, raised in an environment that, on the surface, seemed normal. His childhood days were filled with school, games, and family gatherings, yet, beneath the mundanity of everyday life, something was brewing. As Mendoza grew, so too did his fascination with the darker aspects of life. He was a child who, while outwardly ordinary, displayed an unsettling curiosity about pain and fear. His interests, while not entirely uncommon in the grand scheme of childhood curiosities, were tinged with a macabre edge that left those around him uneasy. Yet no one could have predicted the path that lay ahead for Mendoza. There were no glaring signs, no glaring red flags that would indicate the atrocities he would later commit. His early years were a stark contrast to the heinous acts that would define his adult life. But as Mendoza grew older, a sinister nature began to emerge. Mendoza's descent into the abyss was gradual, calculated, and terrifyingly efficient. The first name on his grim tally was that of a young woman, a stranger whom he encountered on a desolate city street. This initial crime, committed without thought or premeditation, was the spark that ignited the inferno of his dark journey. As Mendoza's actions grew bolder, so too did his methods evolve. The random acts of violence gave way to a chilling pattern. His victims were no longer chosen by chance, but were meticulously selected. He began to study them, to learn their routines, their habits, their fears. Each crime became a carefully choreographed dance of terror, where Mendoza was the puppet master and his victims the unwilling marionettes. But what was perhaps most horrifying was the transformation in Mendoza himself. The man who was once a face in the crowd became a creature of the shadows. He was no longer just a man, but a specter that lurked in the corners of the city's consciousness, a nightmare that refused to end. His crimes became more audacious, his methods more terrifying. He was no longer satisfied with simply taking a life, but sought to instill fear and dread in his victims before their ultimate demise. Each crime scene he left behind was a tableau of horror, a chilling testament to his growing obsession with control and dominance. The fear that Mendoza inspired was palpable. The local communities were paralyzed by the dread of the unknown, the constant anticipation of the next victim, the next gruesome tableau. The quiet nights were shattered by the echoes of Mendoza's crimes, and the days were filled with whispered rumors and hushed conversations. The local communities lived in fear, not knowing who would be Mendoza's next target. The only certainty was the knowledge that the nightmare was far from over, that the shadow of Mendoza's crimes would continue to loom large over their lives. Each victim was a tragic loss, a life cut short by Mendoza's insatiable thirst for violence. As we delve into the lives of the victims, we're reminded of the stark reality that these were people just like you and me, whose lives were abruptly and mercilessly stolen. Each one had a story, a family, dreams and aspirations that were shattered in the blink of an eye. There was Maria, a young mother of two, a loving wife and a dedicated nurse who always went the extra mile for her patients. She was the pillar of her community, always ready with a helping hand and a comforting smile. Then there was Carlos, a promising university student who always had his nose in a book. He dreamed of becoming a doctor, of saving lives, not knowing his own life would be cut short so brutally. And let's not forget Rosa, the retired school teacher who dedicated her life to shaping young minds. Her students remember her as a strict but fair teacher who believed in them, even when they didn't believe in themselves. These were not faceless victims. They were vibrant individuals with hopes and dreams, cut down in their prime by a man consumed by darkness. They were sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, friends and colleagues. Their absence left a void in the hearts of those who loved them, a void that can never be filled. Their memory serves as a grim reminder of the lives destroyed by Mendoza. Mendoza's reign of terror may have ended, but his impact is far from forgotten. In the wake of his horrific crimes, communities were left shattered, families devastated. The investigation that followed his capture was painstaking and meticulous, a testament to the severity and scale of his atrocities. Evidence was gathered, the stories of his victims heard, their lives honored in the pursuit of justice. Mendoza's capture didn't bring immediate relief, as one might expect. No, the shockwaves of his actions continued to ripple through society, instilling a deep-seated fear and distrust. Parents held their children a little tighter, neighbors viewed each other with a hint of suspicion, and the sense of security once taken for granted was irrevocably lost. The long-term effects on the victims' families were immeasurable. The loss echoed through generations, a void that could never be filled. Yet, amidst the pain, resilience emerged. Families banded together, communities united, stronger in their shared grief. They refused to let Mendoza's actions define them, choosing instead to remember the lives of those lost, not the way they were taken. In the face of such darkness, society was forced to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature. Questions were asked, debates sparked. How could a man like Mendoza exist amongst us? What leads a person to commit such heinous acts? These questions remain, serving as a stark reminder of the evil that can lurk beneath the surface. Mendoza's story serves as a chilling reminder of the darkest depths of human nature, forcing us to question how such evil can exist. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey into the life of Andrés Mendoza. It's a story that's difficult to hear but necessary to remember. The horrific acts committed by Mendoza serve as a stark reminder of the darkest depths of human nature, forcing us to question how such evil can exist. However, it's important to remember the strength and resilience shown by the victims' families and communities. They refuse to be defined by the actions of one man, choosing instead to honor the lives of those they lost. We hope this deep dive has been informative and thought-provoking, providing insights into the human condition and the importance of vigilance in our communities. As we move forward, let's remember the lessons from this story and strive to foster a society where such atrocities are unthinkable. We encourage you to share this video with your friends and family so we can all learn and grow from this tragic event. If you found this video informative and would like to see more deep dives into the darkest corners of human history, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support allows us to continue providing this content and sparking important conversations. Stay safe and remember, knowledge is power. With understanding comes the power to prevent such horrors from repeating themselves. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, stay kind.